Poor boy from the inner city once heard a Sunday school teacher say that Jesus was the light of the world. He took her remarks literally, so much so that after class he came up to his teacher and said, "If Jesus really is the light of the world, I wish he'd come to my neighborhood because it's awful dark where I live." As you and I stop to think about the world that we live in, couldn't we echo those very same words? It's awful dark where I live. I live in a world where people know what it is to be afraid. Some are afraid of living, others are afraid of dying. There's people that are afraid of the past and others that are afraid of the future. It's awful dark where I live. I live in a world where people break promises, where they lie to your face, and where they talk about you behind your back. It's awful dark where I live. I live in a world where people are paralyzed by pain. Some by indescribable emotional pain that leaves them depressed and full of despair. Others by chronic physical pain, which leaves them debilitated. It's awful dark where I live. I live in a world where people are so full of insecurities and anxiety that they think the only way to escape them is to end their life. It's awful dark where I live. I live in a world where people are wrecked with guilt, where they think that because of the sins they've committed in their past, there is no way that they could have a future. It's awful dark where I live. Oftentimes at Christmas, people try to lighten the darkness in their world. We sometimes think that if we understand and live out the true meaning of Christmas, whatever that may be, that somehow that's going to bring lightness into our dark, dark world. And so department stores will say to you that if you want to lighten your world, well, it's all about purchasing gifts and giving them. Counselors will say that if you want to lighten your dark world this Christmas season, you need to forgive yourself and then forgive others. TV shows will say that the true meaning of Christmas is family and to be home for the holidays. Nonprofit organizations will say that if you want to lighten your dark world, well, you need to lighten someone else. So the meaning of Christmas is to give to the less fortunate. Now, all of those things sound good, and all of those things to some extent may give a little sense of warm and fuzzy feeling in our hearts and minds. But one thing they don't do is they don't change the darkness. No, the only way that our darkness and the darkness of our world is overcome is through Jesus, the light of the world. And you see, that is really what Christmas is all about. Christmas is about a God who established and confirmed his love for the world by giving his most precious treasure, his one and only Son. Christmas is about God's grace, his undeserved love come into our lives and into our hearts through that child born in a manger. Christmas is about you and I going to that manger as we are, broken, flawed, and ever aware of our sin, and know that that child in the manger is the one who rebuilds, restores, and forgives. I don't know what darkness looms over your heart this time of year. But I do know that no matter what that darkness is, Jesus can disperse that darkness with the light of his love. And that's what Christmas is about for you and I. I don't know what plans you have this Christmas Eve, but I would invite you and your family to come and to join us at Crown of Life as we celebrate Jesus, the light of the world.